Tonight, the part of the urban omnist will be played by his slightly scruffier brother, the urban bum. Yes, I'm sorry guys, I haven't shaved in a week or two. I've been moving, that's why I haven't done any videos lately. But I'm back, and I'm back with a question from Mark Elaine. Mark, I hope I pronounced that correctly. He asks, how exactly is religion a valid view of the universe, and what religions are we talking about? Well, first of all, we're talking about all religions, every single one of them. Even the ones we might look at as being kind of negative, and the ones so lost to antiquity, we can't even study about them. I think the question was in reference to a statement I made at the end of one of my latest videos, where I said that science, religion, and philosophy were all valid ways of looking at the universe, but kind of from different angles. Now, often it's very difficult to try to translate one way of thinking to another, but in this case, I think it's fairly straightforward, because all three of those things simply address different issues. Science is after what things are made of. What is the proverbial brick made from? Where did the universe come from? Where is it going? How did we evolve as people, physically? Philosophy is interested in why we do what we do. Why do we exist? Why are we? And religion, of course, is interested in how we treat our fellow man, in morality and ethics. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap, as there's always going to be. Back in Greek times, they were all three the same thing, and over the years they compartmentalized, specialized, and sort of went their separate ways. But as I've said before, I think they're going to be coming back together. Obviously, there's a lot of things that science says that I think is going to have a great impact on morality. Things in psychology and neurology that have a lot to say about why we treat our fellow man the way we do. And I think it's coming to a lot of similar conclusions that religion has over the years. And there may be some scientific merit to religion. We don't know exactly how much, because when it comes to religion, we're talking about things that are 4, 5, 6,000 years old. If you go with Hinduism and Aboriginal beliefs, we could be going back 50,000 years. So we're going back to a very different way of thinking. Some Christians, for instance, think that everything in the Bible is metaphorical, especially as far as the scientific things are concerned. Genesis, as far as how the world was created. I've also read some great Christian apologists that make an interesting case for the idea that if you look at Genesis in a certain way, it actually is saying the same thing as science. And I won't try to go into all of that, but I have read some interesting ways of looking at that. The Christian fundamentalists, on the other hand, believe in it very literally. God made the world in 6 days, rested on the 7th. The world is 6,000 years old. Is that true? I have no idea. I guess it's possible. God could have just, boom, created the world, put a bunch of dinosaur bones into the ground, just for us to puzzle about later. After all, I remember the argument people made many years ago that if a doctor was to examine Adam and Eve 3 days after they were created, he probably wouldn't have said they were 3 days old. They would have appeared 20 or 30 years old, and the entire world could work the same way. Is that true? I have no idea. Fritjof Capra made some really interesting statements about Eastern mysticism, saying that what they were really stating thousands of years ago were things that we're now coming to realize in areas of quantum physics. The Hindus had some really intriguing ideas about time that other religions didn't seem to. They used numbers that no one else seemed to use, billions and trillions. Why would they even need those numbers? They had these concepts that the universe was created and then destroyed and then created again and then destroyed again over incredibly long periods of time, which we're now coming to find out in science is true. So, yes, there's going to be some overlap. And I think that as time goes on, we're going to come to more of a realization of exactly what those overlaps really are. Maybe science will one day figure out what the religious people have been talking about for years when they refer to the human soul. And maybe we'll be able to address some philosophical questions like, is the brain the mind? Or is the mind something that simply uses the brain but exists outside of it somewhere we can't really study at the moment? So, Mark, I hope that addresses your question, or at least relatively well. We'll cover this more in the comment section. And again, it's been good to talk to you guys again. I am the Urban Omnist, signing off for now. And guys, please don't forget to support us as much as possible by clicking subscribe, liking us on Facebook and Twitter, and please, 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 please send me those questions right at this address. Thank you very much. Again, I'm the Urban Omnist.